Who we decide to share our lives with is among the most important of decisions that we will ever make in our lives. It directly influences the quality of life that we set up for ourselves and can make the difference between improving our situation and staying in the same old plateau. There are certain people who would drain your positive energy, tell you to do things that don't apply to you, and shame you for being your own unique self. Look at it this way. If you hang around people who are negative and constantly spout off bad things about the world around them, these people will be the types of things that you'll have floating around in your mind as you progress in life. Negativity, much like positivity, is contagious, and it is easy for you to believe things that are fundamentally wrong when they're presented in a confident and/or convincing manner. When you make a point of it to be around those individuals who are kind and compassionate towards others, they will in turn instill in your mind a real sense of gratitude with respect to what you have and what you want to sincerely stand for. What everyone should do is assess the type of people that they spend the most time with. It's a pretty basic thing for mature adults to do. To ask yourself, do I really want this person or these types of influences in my life? Do I want this particular relationship to continue to establish itself? Or am I looking for another, more preferable type of relationship that will better suit who I am? Take a good look at the time you are spending with people. Think of it like an investment because in many ways, that's what it is. You're giving other people your attention, time, and energy, and oftentimes other people don't deserve it or simply aren't interested in pursuing the same kind of lifestyle and values as you. The main thing to consider is to seriously rethink whether the people that surround you are making things better for your well-being. To give yourself more clear of an idea of the type of people that you shouldn't allow yourself to be negatively influenced by, here's a short list of the kinds of people that are very common out in the world. Number 1, controlling people. You probably have met this kind of person before numerous times. The kind that won't hesitate to tell you what to do and what the best opinion to have is. Generally speaking, these are actually very insecure people that constantly need to validate themselves because they themselves are afraid of being perceived as being less than. They are overly competitive by nature and ignore areas within themselves that require improvement. This is why they can be particularly harmful to others. They'll tell you what they think is right, but not necessarily what's in your personal best interest. You have the freedom to make up your mind and say what is right. And as such, you need to protect yourself from others who want you to feel the way that they do in order to satisfy their own needs. Learn to recognize these types of people and keep in mind that they may be dysfunctional. Once you start to get rid of these types of influences, you'll feel as though a weight has been lifted from your shoulders. You'll have a much more effective capacity to hear from your inner monologue about what you care about and how you should behave. 2. Dishonest people. Trust is one of the founding tenets of human society, not for nothing. It is something that we expect from most all people that we come across in order to feel comfortable and safe in our activities. When you start to notice that who you surround yourself with are dishonest by nature, you need to be very careful. It's important to note that with these types of characters, you may not know who you are really with, as they are likely to just be putting on an act, and may therefore be trying to hide their true colors. If you find yourself giving up your time to dishonest people, whether they are family members, coworkers, or anyone else, start reining in the amount of time that you spend with them and look to other better people to share experiences with. It can be hard at first, especially if you've already developed quite a history with a certain group. But hearing half-truths and made-up stories doesn't serve you or your personal growth. You want people to influence you positively, those who take the high road and that believe in having principles. This is serious because you could lose not only your moral compass, but your instincts about what's right or wrong as well. Number 3, mean, angry, and bitter people. You probably don't need to be told that these kinds of people aren't the best to have on your team when you're trying to lead your best life. However, what's most important to take into account is being able to know when these people are leaning on your life, values, and outlook. Behavioral cues for traits like these are often more subtle than you might realize. For instance, one indicator might be that someone has a tendency to blame others on a regular basis. Although things may be their fault, their instincts tell them to fault others in order to protect their own interests. Other common cues include complaining about many things and judging the standings of others. They might have prejudiced tendencies and hardly ever take the time to hear whole arguments before making up their minds. It is far better to have constructive people in your life, those who try to find the answers and solutions to problems. These kind of influences will strengthen your character and make you feel more sure in your decisions. Number 4, selfish people. It isn't always so obvious when you're with people who are always taking and never give anything in return. By definition, these types of people feed into our parasitic tendencies and encourage us to be less righteous and compassionate people. This makes all the sense in the world because when you want everything done for you, you don't value earnestness, integrity, and just doing the right thing. It's always better to see the world as a place of positive opportunity rather than a violent battlefield where you're just trying to get your own to survive and conquer. One way to know if you may be hanging out with someone like this is to ask yourself a simple question. How likely are they to help someone who's homeless or going through a hard time? Are they likely to turn their back on other people's problems?